You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
I am.
What up, film fans? Happy Tuesday, and welcome to Mrs. Doubtfire. Welcome to episode 323, and welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men movie podcast. You're listening to the Cine-Men movie podcast. Hope everybody had a good week. Ed, how was your week?
So far so good. Definitely a better weekend than last weekend. So, didn't get hit by nothing.
Good. Jay, what about you? Good week?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
I'm excited about this one, man. We're getting ready to talk some Robin Williams. This is our last Robin Williams movie before we talk all about his top 5 plus 5 movies next month. And before we end the year, just a few weeks. It's kind of unbelievable to say, but the year is coming to a closure. So yeah, should be fun. But we have a jam-packed episode, guys. Top 5 returning today. Recent watches here in a bit. Box office news, some movie news, and other stuff coming up. So, but if you guys did not listen to last week's episode, we talked all about Clerks 3. We wrapped up our Clerks trilogy, and it was a fun conversation. I, for one, enjoyed the way we put a cap on the trilogy. So go back and listen to all of our Clerks episodes. And Clerks 3 was last week. If you guys want to find the links to all of our episodes, you can watch us live on Facebook, or you can watch us on Emissawa Productions YouTube channel, which is the YouTube channel you're watching right now. Ed, if they want to find us on social media, how do they do that?
Really, really easily. So facebook.com/Cine-Men Movie Podcast. That is THECINEMOVIEPODCAST. At the Instagram, it's the same thing, the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. On the X, it is Cinemen405. And email us at cinemen921@gmail.com. We love to hear from you. We love to hear that support, as well as any of your comments, compliments, anything, suggestions that you got. We hate mail, you know what? I find a lot of it hilarious because the creativity is usually chef's kiss. So, come with the hate. It's cool. The Juan and only.
The Juan and only. Yeah, and go back and listen to the episode wherever you listen to podcasts out. Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music. And you can also find us on Apple Podcasts. Just go to www.prescribedfilms.com, and there you can find us, the Movie Defenders, Plastic-tastic podcast. So everything. We're part of a huge podcast network, so go check it out. That's prescribedfilms.com. But yeah, let's get ready to get into some box office numbers. Jay has that for us every week. So why wait? Let's get into some what's in the top of the box office this week, Jay.
I'm just going to go through it really quickly. It was a real slow weekend. We got some big stuff coming out the next couple 3 weeks. We got the new Wicked. We got Gladiator 2, the new Rock movie, Red One, coming out. So those look to be dominant in the next couple weeks. But right now we had at number 5, Smile 2 at number 5 with 5.1 million. Wild Robot dropped from number 2 to number 4 this week with 6.6 million. Best Christmas Pageant Ever came in at 10.8 million. Heretic at 11 million at number 2. And number 1 still Venom with 15.9.
That's nice.
There you go. There's the weekend box office for you.
So let's get into a little bit of movie news for the week. I recently read that Denzel Washington is official for Black Panther 3.
Nice.
I kind of wonder what kind of role he might play. The way Marvel's been lately, they have been snagging some pretty big actors to play like the main villain. So I'm pretty sure that's possibly what he's going to end up playing. So yeah, and then I think the 20th anniversary or the 10th anniversary of Interstellar is hitting theaters in a few weeks, just in time for us to do our anniversary episode on Interstellar here in a few weeks as well.
I know Sunday night that the Penguin finally ended its 8-episode run, and it kind of set up what might be ahead of us for Batman 2.
Also, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning teaser trailer came out along with the official title. I believe that is May or July of 2025.
It looked pretty good.
Yeah, and then the brand new trailer for Captain America: Brave New World came out. And a lot of people are saying that this is one of the better trailers of the year. So
the Thunderbolts actually came out as well.
Ooh,
that's nice. So other than that, guys, I think that's it for some movie news. Unless anybody else has anything they want to bring up.
Just a lot of trailers this week.
I did hear, if I'm not mistaken, that Wednesday season 2 is going to be next November 25th or something like that, 23rd.
I still have to watch season 1.
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
That's what I'm saying.
So, let's get into some recent watches and recommendations. Ed, you can go first if you'd like. If you have anything that you've been watching or anything you want to recommend to the listeners.
So for the last week, I haven't done a ton of watching. We did watch Miss Doubtfire, of course. We also watched Scary Movie 1, 2, and 3. So there is that. I introduced my nephew to a little bit of Scary Movie 3. Not much of it. Just a few funny parts, like I forget his name, but when they meet the kid and he's basically getting thrown out the window and all that crap, like just some of the small funny stuff. He thought it was hilarious. I've been playing a bit of Dragon Age Veilguard. It just came out Halloween, so not too old. I've got probably about 20 hours logged on that. As well as I've got to kick a little 8-year-old's butt in show 24. See him on those, show him the ropes a little bit. So, yeah, that's pretty much all.
I wanted to bring this up. I should have brought it up in movie news, but I didn't. Jay, you'd brought up Red One as well. With the budget being $225 million, it's already projected to lose its money.
That doesn't surprise me. 200. Where in the hell did it go?
Yeah. Well, The Rock was probably 75 of it.
And then you got Chris Evans in there as well.
Yeah, it looks like I think it's projected to have like a $10 to $13 million opening.
That's it?
They should have known. I mean, $13 to $20 million opening.
Still, that's it?
Yeah. But I mean, you got to look at it like they should have known. Like, it's a Christmas movie, Not everybody really celebrates Christmas.
Well, it's not even just that, but it's a movie about J.K. Simmons being Santa and Dwayne Johnson being Santa's bodyguard, basically. And
I'm not gonna lie. The trailers to me look funny, but $220 million is a lot.
I'm gonna let you guys know this now. I don't plan on seeing it in theaters. That website I go through already has it on it, and I plan on possibly watching the next night or two. It's a decent. That's the way Hollywood gets my money. It doesn't.
It gets your time.
Barely.
It just you can't bet that just because you have The Rock or just because you have J.K. Simmons or Chris Evans that you're gonna make $500 million or a full-on billion. Like that's rare. You've got to have the following and.
But the projected outcome for the weekend, $20 million. That's just downright horrifying.
Garbage.
It is. I mean, they're wrong. What was it? Inside Out 2 beating the hell out of a lot of people so far.
It's the number 1 movie of the year. It's made $1.7 billion this year.
That's what I'm saying. Like Inside Out 2 just beat the hell out of a lot of people.
Anything else that you want to recommend? Ed?
I mean, Dragon Age Veilguard. There's that. It's actually pretty good. I think. I think it's a step up from the competition. It's not as good as Origins and Awakening, but that was still when Dragon Age was new, so there's that. But yeah.
I'll go through mine real quick. A lot of football over the weekend. I checked out Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I was supposed to be on Friday the 14th podcast last week. Some things came up, was not able to be on that. I thought the movie was decent. I'd give it a 2. Hercules, I had an itch. Somebody recommended Hercules. I had seen it before, but I just wanted to rewatch it. You know what? R.I.P. to the man, Tony Todd. I rewatched Candyman over the weekend.
Dude.
You know what? I don't care. The movie to me is still, even for being over 30 years old, I still really, really enjoy that movie. Checked out Miss Doubtfire for today, and then I checked out the 4:30 movie, Kevin Smith's new movie. Jay recommended it to me. I really liked it a lot. I love those 80s throwback movies. I'd give it a 3 out of 5. Movie goes by super quick. You blink and it's over. Great plot, great story. Ed, if you want to check it out, I think it's going to be on Vudu here soon.
It already is.
There you go. So,
dude, is that, without the credits, it's an hour and 16 minutes.
And Ed,
wow.
you love like teenagers being crude and funny, and all those kind of jokes. So I recommend it to you. Jay recommended it to me. I recommend it to you.
All right.
So
All right,
yeah.
we'll start there on me. I watched 4:30 movie. It's my second time seeing it, or actually I've seen it 3 times already because I watched it again. I've watched it twice since it's been on Vudu. It is the 4K version, like it matters, but it is the 4K.
You want to see the jokes in top quality, okay?
Hey. And the movie spoke to me. The reason why I love the movie, I give it a 3.5, almost a 4, just because it was me when I was growing up. Not necessarily me inviting a girl to the movie to go watch a movie with me, but it was me and how me and my brother and me and my friends would do it every weekend. We'd go to the movie, we'd buy a ticket, and just go to different movies all day long. Sneak in and out of movies, because that's basically what the movie's about. 3 kids, friends having fun sneaking into movies for the day.
Hey.
Then I'm on Scream 5, so that's how far I've made it into the Scream rewatch. I sat down and started with the 4K cut of Scream 1. Looked gorgeous. I thought it looked absolutely beautiful. And then hit 2 and 3 over the head pretty quickly, and then got stuck on 4 because I started falling asleep. But I had to watch Miss Doubtfire, so I had to pause number 5 for a little bit.
I still don't care what anybody says. Scream 2 is the best besides the original, in my eyes.
Scream 3 is the worst for me.
No, I'm talking about Scream 2 being the best.
Well, I'm saying Scream 3 is the worst.
Yeah.
I agree on both points. Scream, what is it, 5? Yeah, 5 is kind of where it's good, but it's annoying a little bit. Like, it's good, don't get me wrong. The quality's there, the story and plot's there, but Scream 5 has its points where you're like, holy shit, this is great. And then it's like, why the fuck is this going on so damn long, man?
My biggest problems that I've had with any of the scenes where they're in the hospital, because I've been in hospitals a ton growing up in my lifetime, and there are usually people fucking everywhere. There is no way in hell that you're going to be able to go in there and try to murder somebody.
And then don't get me wrong, the one nurse at the charge station, I've never seen less than 4 nurses at one charge station at a time. Even at my current job, which we do, which my job goes into a lot of hospitals, I've never seen a nurses station with less than 4 nurses there.
Okay, we can have a discussion about that one day. Hospitals and realism in movies.
Yeah, but I would say to me it's 1, 2, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Yeah, I enjoyed 6 quite a bit. I actually really did. I didn't miss Sydney in that one at all.
She isn't as needed.
It was a breath of fresh air.
She isn't.
I agree. And then they have the cast that's there, and now they're doing another movie with Sydney because the other crew said some shit about the war and shit like that. They're like, we're fired, and Jenna Ortega's like, well, fuck you, I ain't coming back. She ain't coming back. So they're like, well, fine. And then it's like, come on, man.
Hey, look, that's
they'll work it out for 8.
That's where they need to roll the dice and bring Mr. Lillard back. They need to bring my guy back, okay?
He's busy right now with Five Nights at Freddy's.
Hey, look, FNAF can wait, or FNAF can be right before, or whatever. He needs to fucking get back on his bullshit, like mental house or say whatever.
I've read a lot of fan fiction scripts before Scream 6 came out, based on that scene when they show in the movie where they show the movie theater with all the memorabilia everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were like, "Oh, finally they're going to go do the cult of Ghostface," meaning like there's this group of people that worship Ghostface, and this is like their shrine to it, and they just happen to come across it. I'd like to see something like that. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like that was kind of a little bit in the sixth film with the family, but. Yeah.
Now, let's get into one of our favorite subjects, the top 5. It's our first top 5 since the first week of October. Miss Doubtfire was one of the big hits in November 1993, so why not talk our top 5 favorite movies from 1993? All right, guys, hop in your time machines and let's go back to 1993, where gas was less than $1.15. Movie tickets were probably like $5, and popcorn was probably like $6. If that, yeah. But let's get into it.
It's a very unique one. Our top 5 of 93.
1993.
And going back and looking at this list of movies that came out in 1993, I guarantee you both could probably sit there and say, "Holy shit, 93 had some good movies in it."
93 was a fucking banger year, dude.
So let's dig into it. I'm gonna go. Anybody any honorable mentions they want to run?
I'll have a couple honorable mentions myself. I know this second honorable mention might annoy or piss some people off, but this is my list of what I liked, what entertained me more, what I went back to through over the years. I'm not saying the quality of the movie isn't there. It did win an Academy Award, for God's sake. But, okay, my first one is The Sandlot. That's my first honorable mention. I love the hell out of that movie. I could watch that movie anytime. When they were doing the chew and they get on the roller coaster rides and they bar the tequila, love it every time. And my other honorable mention, and here we go, Schindler's List.
Ooh.
That's a good movie.
But it's an honorable mention.
Now, one, I'm about to blow your mind, bro. I don't just have one. I don't just have two. I don't just have 3. I've got 4 honorable mentions. So
okay. I got 5. I'm gonna run. You want to go through yours first? I was just gonna.
Holy shit, we got a top 10 list then going. What else? Yeah, nobody told me we could do a top 10. Shit.
This is where I'm like cutting things out. Okay, like I cut some stuff out, and these 9. Well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These 11, I could watch any fucking day. Literally, this 11, I can watch any day.
And granted, these movies are all 31 years old.
Yeah.
Rudy, Too Easy. Rudy, good film. Homeward Bound, The Incredible Journey. Bro. Robin Hood, Men in Tights.
I seen that in theaters. That was great.
I know some people will give me some shit on that, but my wife would be pissed off if I didn't list that shit. So there it is. That's, Dazed and Motherfucking Confused. That was hard not to put on the actual top 5 because damn.
That's hard.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So that is finite for my honorable mentions.
I'm going to go through mine real fast. A Bronx Tale,
Ooh.
Grumpy Old Men,
Blood and Blood Out, great.
Blood and Blood Out, and Carlito's Way. So those are my honorable mentions that we'll go through real quick. Jay, let's start us off with you. What's number 5?
We had a long discussion about this movie a few months back, and it's set in the future. I chose Demolition Man for my number 5 because I gave that a very high mark. It has a very rewatchable factor. We all sat here for at least an hour and a half discussing that movie. Everything we liked about it, how cerebral it was, just how much stuff was stuffed into that movie, and it was just it's supposed to be just a stupid action film. But that's my number 5 pick. Is Demolition Man, starred Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
I got a tie for now, my number 5. I'm gonna ride the coattails off you real quick though. I couldn't choose between the two, and it's gonna be Demolition Man and What's Eating Gilbert Grape. I'm a sucker for Johnny Depp and Leonardo DiCaprio. I love those two movies. But What's Eating Gilbert Grape would probably be 5B, and Demolition Man would be 5A. Ed, what's your number 5?
See, man, I'm coming in it like you are, man. Tied on. I've got 2 ties in this list. Number 5 is a tie between The Nightmare Before Christmas and Hocus Pocus. I feel like as a kid and even growing older, those two are like this. A lot of people will say I'm an idiot, and a lot of people say Nightmare beats the shit out of Hocus Pocus. Some people will say
both classics.
Exactly. They both got their factions out there, man. So yeah, Skeleton Jack and the Sanderson sisters tying in at number 5 for me.
Jay, number 4.
All right, he left it off his list. I put it on my list. Dazed and Confused.
Dude, it was so hard not to put that on there, man. It was so hard.
It's just a perfect movie to me. In a lot of ways, how it's just a normal day and the last day of school, where these kids are going from being, they're freshmen now, they're seniors now. What's their role? The dichotomy in the school, the whole whipping thing. That hit me personally because I've been hit with the paddle. I had a family member that beat the hell out of me with the paddle a few times. Mom, love her, God rest in peace.
Hey, no, the family. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can't count how many times I've been hit with a damn spatula or a damn wire hanger or a chancla or something like that. It ain't just in the Hispanic folks. We got them too, bro.
It was. I thought it was a great little tale, and you get to see so many big names for that time period. A lot of people. Ben Affleck being the biggest one, of Matthew McConaughey. Also. But McConaughey's character came out more iconic at the end. His character meant something by the end,
Hey, you know what? And he's still hanging out in college as he gets older. They all stay the same age.
Hey, man, look. Spicoli can call me, a dick all he wants, but it was hard not to put that in the list, dude.
Oh, man, it was.
Well, that's Fast Times. I'm sorry.
Number 4. Number 4 for me is going to be Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
That was 93. Oh, yeah, that was December of 93. Wow.
We talked about that movie in long form last year. It was a completely fun film. I love going back and rewatching it. So that's my number 4. Ed?
I'm always a big Batman guy, so yeah. My number 4, I'm going to go ahead and go back to when dinosaurs were cool as shit. They still are, but Jurassic fucking Park, man. I mean, what can't you say that's great about this film? What can't you say that this film doesn't have? I mean, honestly, this film has a ton. If you've never seen it, you are doing yourself a disservice. It's with dinosaurs, dude. I'm not into that kid shit. Okay, don't see one of the greatest films of all time. Don't care. Bye. Sorry about you.
I wish they'd make an adaptation just like the book. The book was pretty badass.
Me and my wife were talking about that the other day. She's been playing the Lego Jurassic Park game. We were talking about that the other day.
93 was a great year in movies. Jay, what's your number 3?
You had this as your 5B. I'll have it as my number 3. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? Because, dude, I still to this day sit there and walk around and sit there and look at people sometimes, and I'll just deadpan look at them like, I kill it, Gilbert. I kill it.
Dude.
Mine is anytime somebody is like in water or something, I'm like, I could have drowned it, Gilbert. I could have drowned it.
Mama, wake up! Oh, dude, that movie made me cry. So that,
yeah.
Oh my!
Seriously, God. Man, Mama. When Mama dies, dude, that's just fucking brutal.
And they got to burn the house with her in it.
Yeah, just because to save her the embarrassment of being pulled through the house with all these cranes and shit. So that movie's heartbreaking. Arnie's still fucking crazy. The next summer when all those trailers come through to come pick him up. It had a good cast too.
Oh yeah, like the two sisters. John
This
C.
is to
Reilly.
me. This is to me before Johnny Depp got lost in all his characters. This was the last movie he did because right after this he did Ed Wood, and that's when he started doing all these characters.
What's Eating Gilbert Grape to me is one of the most underrated movies probably of all time. And two performances that probably should have been recognized during award season with Leo and Johnny Depp. But yeah.
Leo for damn sure.
Yeah.
His rendition of Arnie is fucking great.
Yep. So that's your number 3. My number 3, Ed, you talked about it. Jurassic Park. I think it's got to be on the list. Just movie magic. We talked about all of them. Just one of the greatest movies of all time. So I'm not going to spend too much time on it. What about
Isn't it about an island and there's like dinosaurs and shit?
Something like that. My number 3, Addams Family Values.
Dude, I seen that opening weekend in theaters. I had to see. Oh, dude,
I loved it. The Addams Family honestly has always been like a really cool kind of fascination for me. Just the kookiness, the craziness, the wickedness, the weirdness. It
They named their child Pubert. Okay.
To me, as a kid, I felt very odd and off in my surroundings and all that most of the time. So it made me feel like there's something out there for me.
Oh, dude, see, when I sent it and they sent Wednesday's ass and Posing's ass to the camp, and they had to and they made them something. They had to go to the Happy Hut, wasn't it? The Happy Hut. They had to watch all these Disney movies and shit. So she just finally cracks. That's where I fell in love with Christina Ricci right there, though.
Honestly, because dude, and she portrayed that character so well at that age, and then they had the right look for her. She wasn't like. She was one of the first crushes, you know what I mean? Like, in all that good stuff back in the day.
She was for me.
She was, but
I got her next in Casper.
Yeah, but it was just a wholesome movie that you could enjoy with any and everybody. One of those, again, that if you haven't seen it, I think you're doing yourself a disservice, man. So, Jay,
number 2?
My number 2 is one that has been around at multiple times a year because of the way it spreads out over our holidays. Is Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie? Is it a Halloween movie? Is it a fall movie?
Why not watch it all 3 months in a row?
Why don't you just fucking watch it whenever, right?
Yeah.
That's one of and that's what makes this movie so great. It's not just the songs, the atmosphere, the look, and everything like that and everything. The longevity for one, and most people can't sit there and tackle one holiday. It's either a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie. Tim Burton just said, "Fuck it, here. It's everything." It's like, and we were like, "Yeah, it is," and we'll celebrate it gladly all fucking year long if we have to.
Yeah, even the Easter Bunny makes an appearance.
Yeah,
Bunny. So,
the demented world.
Number 2 for me, Jay, was in your list, and it's a list of its own, Schindler's List. That's my number 2. We almost had an episode about it, or did we? I can't remember. But anyway,
it had been a dark, depressing episode.
It's a great movie, just like the performances, the history behind the movie, and then of course Steven Spielberg doing his thing. Man.
First time I seen that movie was whenever they showed it on NBC. They cut out like a couple small scenes of nudity. It was whenever they put them in the gas chamber, you could see them like full on, and they trimmed that down a little bit. But seeing it live, it was uncut, and they didn't censor anything. Whenever he walks up to that one chick, he calls her a fucking bitch, and he blows her brains out. I'm just like, holy shit!
This was shown to me in high school, in history class. So that's the first time I saw this movie. And then it's been one of those movies where I've had just everywhere I go, I've had a copy of Schindler's List. So that's number 2 for me. Ed, number 2.
All right, number 2 for me. If you haven't seen this, you sniff farts and you like it. Sandlot. Honestly, it's the same thing with most of these, dude. If you haven't seen most of these, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under. I don't know if you were born in 2004 and you just weren't shown these, unfortunately. This is one of my nephew's favorite movies. He is a baseball kid, but at the same time, he just loves the little insults and stuff like that. And then he found it strange that we have big dogs here, not that big, but we have big dogs in my house, and he found it strange that they wouldn't just go get a ball from a big dog. He's like, they're teenagers. He's like, what the heck? It's like it was a different time then, man.
Tell him they can't go get no balls from me.
Oh man,
the beast was a fucking beast, though.
Yeah,
I wouldn't fuck with the beast. I have another real quick add-on, real quick. Nobody has talked about it. I wonder, do you guys remember? I've seen this movie dozens of times with a child. Free Willy. It came out in '93 as well.
Right.
With the Michael Jackson song.
I love the Michael Jackson song. My favorite character was Randolph in that movie.
The Indian guy?
The native guy, yeah. I enjoyed him. He was hard-nosed, didn't take stuff from nobody, trying to raise Jesse the right way. And then Michael Madsen, too. Michael Madsen, he needs some love, man. That's a good actor. So...
I only brought that up because there's not much more we could say about my number 1. We've already discussed it a little bit, Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park, number 1.
Yeah,
Turtles 3 wasn't up there? Turtles 3?
Dude, that was the first time I wanted to burn down a movie theater when I left it. Even my young self at fucking 11 years old knew something was wrong when I walked out of that movie theater. But, besides, seeing Jurassic Park opening weekend, I got dropped off to go see it. Your mom came and picked me up, Fred. Or Juan. So yeah, I got from the movie to pick it up to see it. I got dropped off at your house, and I talked to your dad. I told your dad, I was like, "Hey, I just got through seeing this movie called Jurassic Park." He's like, "What do you mean your ass at the park?" And I'm like, so that was my seeing Jurassic Park.
Oh shit, that's great.
So,
my number 1 is going to be Philadelphia. Tom Hanks, Denzel Washington. I recently just saw this movie too, like maybe 5 years ago, and I'd always wanted to watch it. Turned it on, bought it, watched it, and I was like just sobbing, like ugly crying at the end of the movie. And it's one of those movies that as soon as it's over, it doesn't go back to the main menu; it just restarts. And I watched it again. I don't think I've ever done that with a lot of movies, but I watched it back to back. Still a very good rewatch. So number 1 for me is Philadelphia.
Number 1, I've got the last but not least a tie. We've interviewed one, we have not the other. The first of the tie is Blood In, Blood Out. What can we say that we haven't said so far? We got to interview one of the main actors for that film. We've talked about it a lot. It is kind of a big thing in culture. So there is that. With my number 1 other part of the tie, you wondered why it hadn't been mentioned yet. This is one of my childhood favorites. Free Willy, man.
Holy shit, man! I'm sorry.
No. I was just like, damn it, man. No. Jesse James, what is it, Richter?
Yeah.
I thought he was pretty cool back then. Getting to work with the orcas and all that stuff. It's pretty much my favorite animal is an orca, legitly. So, like I said, that with just a few others was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So the kid in me wouldn't let me not include that in a 93 list. Yeah.
Dude, I'm sorry.
No.
I thought Willie wasn't going to get no love. I had to bring him up. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, Willie gets a big old piece of my heart, man. It's all good, man. He does. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Free Willy when I was a kid.
I got to sit in theaters.
See, I don't remember the first time I seen it because I was young when I first seen it, man.
I seen it like 2 or 3 times in theaters, and because it came out in like May or June of that summer, and I wouldn't seen it, and then like in July, when
July 16th.
And then a couple weekends later, Hocus Pocus came out in theaters, and I wouldn't see it. It was like, what? That was just a weird combo because that, and whatever. But yeah, dude, hell yeah, Free Willy, that's badass.
Like I said, like I was, 2 years old. Yeah, just over 2 years old when this thing came out, and I mean, it's one of those things. Actually, my wife wasn't even 2 yet. Funny enough. But it's one of those things to where I grew up watching like that and Nightmare and Hocus Pocus and stuff like that. Like we had a couple of films that were double copies that we had 2 VHSs. Bless you. And that Space Jam, Hocus Pocus. I'm kind of ashamed to admit it, but some Barney tapes when I was a kid and some Power Ranger tapes and all that stuff. Yeah.
Hey, man. I had to sit there. I went through the Barney situation with my little brother, and then I went through it with my kid. So, but with kids, I have to sit there and say, Barney, as annoying as it could fucking be, it actually taught my daughter quite a bit, and I'm okay with Barney.
Hell yeah.
And on that front, but I was just telling, here's some fucking like news for you. They have a new Barney show out. It's completely, it's a CGI show. It's 3D animation now. Yeah. I was scrolling through Facebook the other day and they were like, check out the new Barney. And I'm like, what the fuck? So,
yeah, I think 97 or 98 was the last time I ever watched one, to be honest.
Well, let's dig into the meat and potatoes of today's episode.
Barney's Great Adventure. Yes.
If you guys want to send in your top 5 movies of 1993 that year, send us in a top 5 and I'll get ready to dish out some of the emails in a few episodes. So Mrs. Doubtfire right now on IMDb has a 7.1, 71% on Rotten Tomatoes, 54% Meta, and a 3.6 out of Letterboxd. With a $25 million budget, it's grossed a little over $442 million at the box office with a November 24th, 1993 release date. After a bitter divorce, an actor disguises himself as a female housekeeper to spend time with his children held in custody by his former wife. Starring Robin Williams, Sally Field, Pierce Brosnan, Harvey Feinstein, Polly Holliday, Lisa Jacob, Matthew Lawrence, Mara Wilson, Robert Prosky, and directed by Chris Columbus. Same guy who directed Harry Potter and Home Alone.
Dude, not only that, but he used some of the music from this on Harry Potter. There was a few instances when me and my wife were watching that we were like,
see? I thought that myself. I sat there and like, hold up a minute, that's some Harry Potter fucking I'm like, and I was like, John Williams didn't do this score though. Howard Shore did.
No. So let's dig into it. We'll start with you, Jay. Do you remember the first time you seen it? And in a few short words, what was it like revisiting it for the episode?
Okay. I was old enough to see it in theaters when it came out. My mom went out on a date. The date took her to see this. My mom's not real big on movies, but she was like, you guys have to go see it. So she took us all to go see it. The Almonte 6 down the street. And so that was my first experience with it. I enjoyed it the first time. I thought I was a big Robin Williams fan. I just, he had just done Aladdin, so I was completely real hyped on, Robin Williams' voice work and just his voice work. I told you not too long ago, what's one of the earliest movies I remember seeing in theaters, and I told you it was Good Morning Vietnam, and back in like 86 or 87. So that was my experience with it. I enjoyed the hell out of it when I first seen it. I grew up with it quite a bit through my years, because It came out on VHS not too long after to buy. It was one of those to buy VHS that came out instead of just going straight to rental and then having to wait to buy. And it was everywhere. So you'd watch it at school, you'd watch it at grandma's house, This last time I watched it, I don't know if it's because I've experienced a divorce now, but the movie was not all that funny to me. It just was kind of heartbreaking in a weird way.
Oh,
it was,
bro,
and it was just like, he's doing this to cope with his loss. That's why he's acting this way. In my weird sense in mind, he's doing this because he has nothing else. And I was like, I've been there. I've had nothing else.
Well, I think,
and it was brutal to me.
The biggest part of the transition from Daniel to Effie, as he likes to call the character, is just to see his kids, because and I know we're kind of skipping ahead to the discussion part and all that, but you've got the usually it's a training sequence and all that, but his training sequence in this is fucking with her, with the paper advertisement for a nanny or housekeeper or whatever. He keeps calling her in different voices and shit like that, just fucking with her. So I mean, it's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's like, okay, it's getting a little petty. Like, just do it, just get on with the character. But essentially, he's just doing it to see his kids. It's like, okay, I know this might be fucked up, but hey, I got to do what you got to do.
And yeah, I'm kind of right there with Jay. Like, I grew up with this movie. It was always a part of me. I thought this movie was always super funny, and it still kind of is. But again, I don't know if it's because going through the same thing or I had went through the same thing. But looking back at it, or that's not what it is. I'm going to be honest with you guys. To me, the movie just didn't age well. Some 30 years later, I kind of just watched it from the outside in. I'm like, kind of creepy, but it's a funny comedy movie, so it's it's still kind of have that warm heartness to it. And Robin Williams says it himself, like he pleaded insanity at the end of the movie. Spoiler alert for a 30-year-old plus movie, but like I don't. And again, Jay, you mentioned this earlier in the week. I don't know if it's because the passing of Robin Williams, but I just feel in today's recent watch, or this week's recent watch, we can do Miss Doubtfire justice because we've done it with all the other movies we've done, including the Clerks movies. Why something wasn't as funny this so many years later? I just think Mrs. Doubtfire didn't age well.
I will go ahead and say that I don't think it's not. I think we're seeing it from an adult's perspective now, because all three of us have at least been married at one point in time. All three of us have had experience with kids. Only two of us have kids. You guys have kids. I do not yet. I might as well with my nephew at times. But with that being said, I have an inkling of that parental responsibility, and I say that as quotations because it's more guardian with me. But we've luckily, because I don't know as much with you as your childhood, Jay, but like, did you ever go through like the split up of parents and all that stuff?
Oh, dude, I went through it 3 different times.
Okay, so that's what I was about to say. I wasn't fully sure. I got
it at like 4 years old. I got it at like 11, like in my early preteens, like 11 or 12 or 13, and then I got it in my late teens. So it's like, I got it at 3 different stages of life.
Let me just go back and say, I don't want to sound like I'm about to shit on Mrs. Doubtfire.
No.
I am ecstatic to finally talk about this movie, and I am ecstatic to not only share this conversation with you guys, but everybody out there watching and listening. Like, Mrs. Doubtfire was the hit. Like, this is the movie that, to me, made Robin Williams a megastar. Like, this is also the movie that just solidified how caring and endearing he can be, as far as like at the end of the movie. And he's playing an actor inside of a movie. That's another thing I have to remember, is he's putting his acting chops in so many different areas of this movie that it's like, you got to take a step back because this guy's like phenomenal, really.
Well,
Well-
we checked out some of the special features today. It showed how far he went with the character before he found the character. You know, the character's voice was all out there, high strung, you know, blah, 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 this and that. But then they honed it back and they found this and they found that. And that's what they stuck with.
Well, the 90s and 2000s was a big time, you know, because you've got like the Nutty Professor, you've got Austin Powers, you've got Mrs. Doubtfire, you've got the Medea movies, you've got you've got a ton of people that are dressing not only as one character but several characters over the film.
And this movie really made me think of Tootsie. I don't know if you guys have seen Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman.
I have not.
Dustin Hoffman.
He plays a woman.
Yeah.
But with this, just like you said, he's not only playing an actor in a movie, he's playing an actor that's playing an actor and acting as a whole different skit. But I mean, with this, you've got so many different elements and so many real life elements, and they don't necessarily tone it down. I think they kind of exaggerate a little bit because it's not like he didn't have a job at all. He was just in between acting jobs. You know, he basically told the dude at the beginning of the movie to go stuff it because, you know, why do we want to show kids this bird that's smoking the hell of a cigarette? Like, why do we want to show kids that? He was thinking of his own kids. And the guys over there like, well, if you don't like it, either do it and get a paycheck or there's the door. And he was like, bye, see ya, fuck off. But with a lot of the transitions with this movie, you know, growing up, you think it's just kind of a dude acting zany and funny and all that. While yes, it is. I think the son kind of comes at it from one angle, and then the daughter comes at it from a whole different one because she's old enough to understand that he's just wanting to see his kids. The son's like, "Do you like wearing girls' clothes?" And it's like, dude, that's not the point of this at all. At all. You're missing the whole fucking thing. And then, you know, he's like, don't tell little girl because, you know, Matilda's gonna ruin it for everybody. She's gonna get me caught.
Jay, I know you had mentioned, and Ed, you can touch on it too once he brings it up. But you said you also had a problem with Sally Field's character, right?
Yeah, she just seemed, I don't know, just there in a way. But then she was just kind of like, I want to say, you know, just how do I put this nicely without calling her the B word?
I mean, she was kind of a bitch.
Well, see, I feel,
but it was the character.
I kind of watching it so many years later now. I had said this earlier that I think she should have played a little bit more of an angrier, like she should have been a little bit more evil.
She was more petty.
Yeah.
I was about to say, because it's more the pettiness. Because, I mean, in the court case, it's just like you're looking over and you're like seeing him distraught and all that. And it's like this dude just doesn't want to lose his kids.
But you see her face. You see her face, though. Sally Field during both court scenes. She's not, you know,
she's indifferent.
Right. She's not wanting blood. The look on her face is like, you know, she knows she shouldn't be doing this, but it's also, if you look at the lawyer's face, you know, Sally Field.
She was the lawyer was kind of getting off on like, yeah, we did it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, come on. Now that we're so many years older, it's a payday for her. It's a big payday.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like Sally Field, her character should have been a little bit more harsher, if that makes sense.
I think the reason why they possibly didn't go that route was
it's still a family film at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, plus it's Sally Field, and you got Sally Field in your movie, and you're like, do we really want to just portray her as the straight bitch in this movie, or can we sit there and come at it from a understanding that she has a valid point why they're getting a divorce. He has a valid point why they should stay together. But in the long run, you know, at the end of the movie, you know, whenever you get the speech about how sometimes, you know, when people are together, it's they just can't do it anymore. So they have to be apart and become better people. And that was the whole point of the movie. That because when they first signed on, the end of the movie was them getting back together. And they both Sally Field and everybody was like, no, they should not get back together. We should not reconcile. This should end in a divorce, and it should stay that way.
Bro, I got to bring up Pierce Brosnan, man. I didn't realize he was in this movie until this watching. And forgive me, I haven't seen this in like a dozen years, legitly.
That's good.
But I didn't realize 007 Pierce Brosnan was in this.
Oh, that's when he had just gotten signed to play 007.
As the love interest on the other side, you know. I like the whole pool scene where he just chucks the shit out of a lemon or a lime at him in the back of the head, and it hits him, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Turns around, and he's just like, "Oh, it was a little kid who," you know. It's just like, "Oh my god, dude."
Edward's Mrs. Doubtfire sound Latina.
But it's just hilarious because it's like you understand now what the anger is from, what the, you know, essentially within a month the dude's being replaced, you know, and he's just like, okay, you left me because I threw my son a birthday party that was
that's where you're wrong. No, that's where you're wrong. That's the straw that broke the camel's back.
Right.
His inability to take things seriously and take life seriously, and to take a career seriously is what made her finally snap.
But can you also, I mean, I don't know if I'm looking at it from a different point, but everything he started doing while he suited up as Miss Doubtfire, I'm sitting here thinking like, dude, if you would have done that before, things would be all hunky-dory. Spending the money on the food if she didn't want to cook. You know what I mean?
But at the same time, you got to understand, he was playing a character.
That character became reality for him.
To a point, yes. But, you know, in that whole, at first, his apartment looks like a fucking pigsty.
That's why I say, that's why I say Miss Doubtfire took over him, because he became Miss Doubtfire in his personal life as well, because he started learning how to cook to maintain the bruise. He started cleaning up after himself. You know, there's this Jordan Peterson. There's a guy. He's a guy that talks on the political spectrum and everything like that, and about colleges and everything. And his quote is, "Before you start going out there and telling other people shit, clean your own house first. Clean your own room, and then you can sit there and maybe start adding, you know, the other things to people's life." And that's what he had to do here in his own world. He had to clean his own act up, and he had to learn to become a better man. And I could almost see them reconciling, because he changed so dramatically, because he realized what he did and what he did to fuck up. But the love was already gone. I've been there personally. When a woman looks at you and tells you that I don't love you anymore, it's over. It's been over for a while. You're just finding out.
Well, she didn't actually say she didn't love him anymore. She just didn't respond to that and just, you know, was like, I'm sorry.
She probably still loves him, but she wasn't in love with him anymore.
And that's the thing right there. Because, I mean, don't wrong. No, I fully get that that's what the straw that broke the camel's back. I fully get that. It's more just she expected him to be on the same track with her, maturing wise and all that, which, I mean, on one hand, you want to say, well, you kind of knew what you're getting into, but on the other hand, it's like, you know, in your mid to late 30s, you know, which we all are in, you know, it's like, look, man, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in your 20s. You can make the stupid ass mistakes. You can do all this and all that. In the 30s, a lot of people expect you to just start growing up and to not have everything figured out, but be closer to it for sure. And he was just he just wasn't there at the time until that happened. And sometimes, you know, in life that it takes that to happen for you to go ahead and click like, oh shit, okay, I need to be on this track, not that one. Okay, damn, you know. And I don't know, it's a hell of a thing, because I mean, as a kid, you don't understand that. You have no idea of the meaning of the life lesson that it's teaching you. You just think it's funny.
I wanted to bring this up to you guys, and I think she kind of did throughout the movie, but I still don't think she was given enough time. But do you guys think Sally Field outdoes Robin Williams in this movie, or do you think watching it so many years later, Robin Williams is still the king of the movie?
Still the king of the movie.
I get bored when I see Sally Field on the screen in the movie. I'm not going to lie to you. I really do.
I feel like her character's forced a bit. I feel like she's supposed she does a good role. She does. But I just feel like she's stiff in this.
I could honestly just follow Robin Williams being this Doubtfire with the kid for the next year. Seriously. The two of the kids know and the other one does. You could play on that subtext for quite a little bit, you know. Do things, you know, as the father is telling the two kids, you know, but they know him as Doubtfire, you know, just playing that off, and then the little kid's like, what's going on? You know, just. And then even have her later on find out. Oh hell, I don't know. We're writing a different movie, but whatever.
And I love how he gets the job with the. He's thinking it's in the movie business, but he's just packing and shipping film reels. So, and then that's how he
still got him a role.
Yeah, that kind of stumbles upon the. He stumbles upon the dinosaur man.
Foot in the door, and he well, it's not that he stumbles upon that. He rips it apart. Like he's going after it. He's like. Just shitting on the dude. Okay,
I was 11 years old when this movie came out. Well, let's sit there and engage maybe where you guys' mentality, maybe if you can recollect. Would a show starring an old woman teaching you things, would you watch it as a kid?
If I was between 3 and 5, like I was when this movie came out, then I probably would.
Okay, let's be real here.
I watched Mother Goose. I would loved Mother Goose.
Let's be real here. The only old woman that teaches you shit that we all three probably watched a little bit was that one old woman that taught you about sex at like 2 a.m.
Hold on a minute. Mother Goose? I was addicted to Mother Goose. And then what about Mrs. What's her name from the Magic School Bus?
Nah, she was in her 30s, dude.
She still counts.
Yeah, I watched, Saved by the Bell and shit like that. I don't know, but would we have watched the show with a 60-year-old woman, grandmother type figure? You said Mother Goose. You probably watched because Mother Goose. But we sat there and watched like a 60-year-old fucking man tell us a beautiful day in a neighborhood every week. So maybe so he could have maybe went because near the end of the movie he was getting picked up for syndication, and that means different areas at different time slots and shit like that. So who knows? I've always wondered that.
I mean, to be fair, we watched Mr. Feeney.
Mr. Feeney was the shit, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like Mr. Feeney had to be in his 50s at least in that area. So
going back and look at the movie, we haven't really touched on the kids yet. But what do you guys think of the three that play the kids? Matthew Lawrence probably being the second popular. Yeah, the little girl who plays Matilda, and then the girl who plays Lydia. The actress who plays her, she wasn't really in much. She was in and out. She was in Independence Day.
Yeah, she was the promiscuous girl that was trying to get laid.
Yeah,
I think the older girl, I think Lydia, I think she gone through a lot of character development. Even in the little bit that, because at first she was kind of just there. Then she was kind of an ass to both parents. And then she kind of really shown her true self once they both got to see it was him as Miss Doubtfire. And after that, it was just kind of like she was just kind of there again. I mean, she went through a lot of, kind of transition, but yeah, she didn't have much time. As far as the son, he did good, but it's kind of, he had transitions as well. And then
go ahead.
And then for the youngin, I mean, Natalie was, or Mara, but Natalie was like 6 at the time, so do you really expect a ton from her?
I thought they were all probably pretty much what they should have been. They were all they were in the movie just enough to get us to like them. They did it perfectly. They casted it pretty well. Mara Wilson was to stand out, because she did go on to do Matilda and other things after this.
I think
And
she's probably one of the probably one of the four most recognizable people there. Maybe five.
well, she went on and she done the Miracle on 34th Street remake. So.
It's a good remake, by the way. What about some other characters? You guys got the restaurant scene where he, Mrs. Doubtfire, like puts
It's
pepper.
getting lit.
Yeah.
First off,
lit.
he probably has like 8 or 9 fucking scotches and stuff before he goes over there. And
not to mention the wine at the dinner table with Pierce Brosnan.
And he went off on that weird tirade about her having a jackhammer in the bedroom and her having crabs and needing sauce and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? That part, that stuff right there, I was like, okay, that's actually pretty funny. That's pretty edgy shit right there, you know? He said there, yeah. But it just hits differently when it's an old woman telling you that.
What about the scene where he's like going in between the restrooms and changing and stuff? I thought that was pretty funny.
Dude, especially when he comes out and he kind of fucks up, but then it ends up, making a career for him where he doesn't change out.
Well, I just find it funny that in between each change, the drunker he gets, because he ends up like the first time he comes back out as Miss Doubtfire, he's weaving and wobbling through that fucking aisle to head back, and then when he has the dress back up as Daniel and come back out, he runs into a fucking wall because he's so drunk. But then whenever shit happens, homeboy starts choking, everything went away instantly, and no bitter feelings, no nothing. He ran over there and fucking done what he had to do.
Bro, he linebacker charged over that mug. Hey, he straight up Ray Lewis that shit. Then
can we also
half suplex?
Can we also acknowledge the price?
The whole time.
Can we acknowledge the price of the 4 dinners that he's paid for?
$130-something.
Yeah,
and this is back in '93.
But this is at a 5-star restaurant, though. Today, 4 dinners would be like $300
or more.
Yeah, it did make me hungry, though. Well, we didn't even talk about the.
We can.
It didn't even talk about the scene where his fake boobies catch fire.
Bro, that
dude.
Shit. And then
I remember them. When 20th Century Fox did their little like highlight reel for whatever movies where you could buy and shit on video. That scene always was used of Robin Williams putting his boobs out.
Which it's hilarious as shit, but it's just like
I remember getting this VHS tape the day it came out, because movies came out on a Tuesday. They still come out on a Tuesday. And it came out for like $19.98, but we got it somewhere for $14.98.
The movie poster is this one, at least, is very misleading. Misleading.
Well, then you've got to think you've got those 2 kids across the way when he's getting changed from his regular to Miss Doubtfire, and then the face falls and gets ran over by the garbage truck.
Oh,
You've
that's
got
funny.
2 kids over across the way in the other room across the street from him, watching him just laughing their asses off. Because, dude, I can imagine seeing that shit, and it's just like, is this a cross dresser? What the fuck is going on here? And
Okay. Okay, we found the movie kind of heartbreaking. We did find it kind of funny.
Yeah,
you found it outdated, Juan. I'll even agree with you there. I think some of the some of the comedy is not outdated. I don't know what it is that's outdated about it. You know what I mean?
It's him dressing up as a woman to secretly fake and get a job to hang out with the kids that he has a court-ordered. He didn't even have joint custody. He can only see him on Saturdays from like 2 to 7 or whatever.
With the court liaison.
Yeah.
And then it comes supervision and all that.
Yeah, so that's the thing I found outdated. Like, man, if somebody tried to do that now, like, man, he says in the movie, if mom finds out, I'll be seeing you behind a plate glass window. So the movie's outdated, but I do like how Robin Williams' comedy in the movie refers back to, hey, it's kind of creepy, and then at the end of the movie, like I said, he kind of.
We just went on the wacky premise. Dad dresses up as a woman to see his kids. And you're like,
I mean,
Robin Williams in this wacky new comedy.
You can understand it though. Like, don't wrong. Like,
but it is based on a French book.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Did not know that.
That might be why the premise is a little weird, huh? Those fucking. Never mind. We love the French. How about those French downloaders over there? Woo woo! Listen to our podcast.
But I mean, you can see what the moral of the story is that he just wanted to see his kids, that the life lesson of growing and growth isn't just it's not a mono thing. It's not a thing that's singular with everybody. It's different for any and everybody. You matured differently than I have, differently than Juan has, differently than our parents did, and so on and so forth. But with a lot of that, you would hope that the ability to reach others with what you're wanting to do and what they should see, like, okay, yeah, he's not, because don't get me wrong, if you're not introducing them to danger, if you're not introducing them into just disgusting ass fucking places, if you're not trying to do anything disgusting with the children, and all that, like,
he even says it in the movie. He's like, I'm being treated like a deviant, and we know what the fuck that means.
Like, he's being treated like he's diddled people.
Here we are.
I mean, if we're talking all seriousness, the judge and everybody has to kind of treat him like that towards the end of the movie, because he's cross-dressing to steal a fake job.
At that time, that was considered a little odd. You know what I mean?
Right.
In today's transgendered world, it would have been perfectly accepted. Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh yes, I love her. But back in the day, though, it was still considered kind of awkward.
But then he got a job as, a children's TV host,
So looking back at it now, do you guys think a movie like Miss Doubtfire could be made again today?
Yes. I think it'd just be more flamboyant. I'm not even bullshitting you. They'd go way over the top with it.
Dude, you could see some of where what is that one, Bluebird or whatever that he did? Birdcage. You could see some of those interactions from that movie.
I think he did Birdcage after this movie.
I think so. But I mean, like,
where he plays a gay guy with Nathan Lane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a guy that has a kid that later was gay, and his son is getting married, and it's time for the parents to meet. I thought it was actually a pretty cool little movie.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie, if I were to sit down and show it to my kids today, I guarantee you they probably like it. They probably wouldn't question too much of it, because even my brain back in the day didn't question too much of it. He just dresses up like a girl to see his kids. Yeah. I didn't think of I didn't until I got older. Like, that's kind of weird. That's a crime. That's a psychological report that needs to be studied. Shit like that. Yeah, it does get like that, but
because we seen it as dudes trying to be funny and hang out with his kids a bit more, and that's all. Like, that's what we seen it as back then. Nowadays, not only a full-on different world, but additionally, we're a hell of a different person than we used to be.
Looking at this movie and just seeing it, even though it is a little weird, I still think if this was a real situation, he does fix the scenario, and he controls the situation by telling the judge, hey, it's like, pleading sanity. Take my kids away. It's like taking my air away. So I think he fixes himself and reassures everybody with that. But then the judge is like, I just see method acting from a really good actor.
And I mean, that's kind of part of it, is just like how much is real, how much is fake. And that's kind of where we're going right now in society. Like, there's 20 stories and 18 of them claim to be true. And only one or two might be. so we can't discern half the time what's actuality and what's not.
Oh no, I thought it was pretty good movie. It didn't. I'm gonna have fun with next week's though.
Before we talk about next week's episode, let's talk. Do you guys have a favorite scene that we can name from Miss Doubtfire? Ed, we'll start with you.
With Miss Doubtfire, I'd probably have to say the dinner sequence always stands out most for me. As far as the going in between the family and the interview dinner sequence, you know, the whole thing of, you know, changing back and forth, and then eventually saving the dude's life, literally, but at the same time getting up and, you know, your mask is fell and getting caught, and your eldest daughter and your son are standing there like, damn, man, like, there goes that. Okay. And your little girl or your little one's just like, hold up, you know, and your wife, your ex is frequently pissed off about it, but you get a job out of it, I guess.
I'm gonna probably have to say the scene where he gets on the bus and the guy keeps hitting on him, and then sees the natural hairy leg.
That left knee.
We didn't talk about much of him either, but the scene where he is going through the transformation, he goes to his brother and he's like, "Can you make me a woman?" That's, if I remember anything about Mrs. Doubtfire, it's going to be that scene where he's getting made into Mrs. Doubtfire.
And I was going to say that's my favorite scene as well because of that reason. They're singing.
Yeah. And then the scene where he is doing his impressions looking for a job, where I have a great impression of a hot dog.
One of my favorite jokes in the entire movie is whenever he sits there, he's calling up his ex-wife, and he screams at that. Well, he screams, he's like, "Leland, get back in your cell! Don't make me get the hose."
Yeah, those are good scenes too. Yeah,
I am Job.
But no, so okay, that woman, the service worker, I forget her actual name, but the service worker, she has got to be one of the best stone faces in Hollywood, especially around that time, because she's the same woman who played it with Jim Carrey in Liar Liar. And go on those two and to be stoic or stone faced is just great, because literally, like, most of the jokes I can understand being annoyed, but when his ass does that hot dog thing, like,
and Haney.
Anne Haney.
Yeah, she played the secretary in Liar Liar.
But literally, when his ass does that whole fucking, I've got a great rendition of a hot dog, and that bitch just goes, you know, like, I'm sorry, I don't care how professional you are, that shit would have sent me off. That shit would have just, yeah.
Star rating for Mrs. Doubtfire, 1993. I'm gonna give this movie a 3. Right there in the middle. I still enjoy this movie more than so. I think the jokes are funny. Some of the stuff just didn't age well for me. I don't know how this would go in like rewatchability. This is the first time I've watched it in like 5 years. No, 5 years.
Probably roughly the same for me.
I still enjoyed it. I still had a few laughs here and there, but it probably wouldn't be, and it definitely isn't my go-to Robin Williams movie. So, Jay?
I'll give it a 3 as well. I like I said, viewing it this time was way different, had a different feeling to it than the last week. Like I said, I guess now that I become Daniel myself without becoming Miss Doubtfire, I became a divorced dad. I'm looking at it from that point of view, was like, holy shit, it got a lot right. And it was just like, oh, damn. So it was just kind of
3-3. Ed, what do you got?
I'm going to go ahead and hit it with a 3 as well. It's definitely a good film and all that. Like I said, I haven't seen this in a dozen years. It does have some aging issues. Of course, different things have, you know, became definite differences in society as well as law and different junk like that. But I digress. it's not going to win everybody over. It's not going to be the best film you're ever going to see, but it's definitely going to be a good life lesson. It's definitely going to have some laughs and all that good stuff. You can show it to the kid or kids, and I think it'll hit a bit different, but it'll hit about the same. And you can still watch it as a grown adult and realize, like, damn, I missed all this. Okay, this whole portion was just not even in my thought process.
Oh, yeah. I experienced that today.
Mm-hmm.
But hey, I'll say this: this was a lot more enjoyable going back and checking out than Patch Adams was.
Yeah,
sure.
Patch Adams was a little depressing. So, next up, next week, we are on the road to Oz.
We're gonna go to fucking Munchkin Land, aren't we?
Yeah, we're heading to the wonderful world of the Wizard of Oz. That is next Tuesday, 7 p.m., November 19th. We discuss the Wizard of Oz because
the wonderful things he does.
November 22nd, Wicked comes out. So
well, we're not going to be reviewing that. We're going to actually be reviewing a good movie here.
Yeah.
The Wizard of Oz. You can take that Wicked shit. The Broadway I heard is pretty cool, but the movie,
Yeah.
So will this be officially the oldest film we've ever gone through?
I'm glad you brought that up, sir. Incorrect.
No?
Way back when, I think it might have been one of the episodes you missed out on, but me and Zach talked about Dracula from 1931.
Yeah. 8 years. Holy shit.
Have you guys done Kong?
No. Wait.
No. I think Skull Island, but the original Kong?
We've only done the Peter Jackson
Godzilla Kong. Oh, that's right.
But yeah, next Tuesday, The Wizard of Oz. I can't wait. Episode 324.
Julie Garland.
Yep. So
there's so much darkness behind this movie.
Follow us down the Yellow Brick Road next week as we review The Wizard of Oz. Woohoo! Later, guys.
We represent.
And then we finished the month with Gladiator 2. Jay, you said you were already going to watch Gladiator 2.
I might.
So, yeah.
Until then, seeing it theaters, it seems pretty possible.
Yeah. So, next week, see y'all later. Have a good week. Love y'all. Hook 'em. Number 3 ranked team.